Alright, gonna go for it again. Guess I'm really looking for perfection, because the only place I really sanded through was right there. And I could have brushed the edge of that and wouldn't have been able to tell, because I don't think anywhere else I went through. So we're going to see what happens. I'm going to lay some more on there. Try to do a better job on the coverage. It's a really hard piece to paint. So many angles. You know, you're trying to get the coats even, and so it's hard to get all those different angles without a dry spot, you know, up in here. All the different angles here. Different angles here, hitting the sides of these, down inside, without getting too much paint, you know, on the edges. Hitting both sides of the hair, you know, in the vents, getting down the edge of the, you know, this angle on that line. So yeah, hope it comes out well. It's going to take it easy and you know, put on some nice light coats. Quit trying to put it on so heavy. One thing I noticed about this paint is, you know, after you're done painting it, it just keeps flowing out, and you know, even through the night, it just keeps flowing and flowing and flowing. So I'm not going to worry so much about trying to get it on there nice and wet and making it look good. I'm just going to get it on there, and then you know, it'll flow out nice and smooth, and what doesn't flow out, we'll just color sand down and polish it. So here we go. Got it to lay out pretty good. Close as I could, you know, all the different little nooks and crannies everywhere. Yeah, it came out pretty good as long as it hangs out that way. Got the heat cranked up. Get it warm in here, let it bake off. So here it is next day. Turned out pretty good. Still got some solvent pop. This part here all looks pretty good. And it's interesting though, I got solvent pop up here, and I think it's because of these lights that I had shining. You can see the little dots right there. I think it skinned over the top before it had time. You know, so I think airflow is more important than temperature. Anyways, getting it figured out. But yeah, the top of it, I mean, if you look real hard, you're going to see where they kind of popped and then skinned over, but not too bad. I'm going to be able to, or at least attempt, I'm going to see if I can't save that. You know, sand it down with some 1500. You can see them things as you're sanding through them. It leaves like a little shiny spot. I don't know how good you can see the reflection on that. Got freaking allergies going on. I'm all plugged up. bugging the crap out of me right now. So I got it heated up in here, getting this sink baked off, and then I'm going to open it up. That helps bake it off too by getting that top cut off of it. And then I'll let it sit with the doors in that while I get the body done. So hopefully it goes good. I got plenty of paint on there, so I shouldn't be sanding through anywhere. Alright, I think we're going to make it. Custom grind. And so that's ready for polish. It's going to look good. I'm going to have to do a lot of hand polishing, but that's alright. We'll get in there and shine that up. So it's ready to roll. This has been sitting for a couple days. It's still not cured out. So I'm going to get rid of this and get the body in here and get it painted. Alright, getting ready to do the body. Trying a little bit different as far as heating. Get the floor hot with those halogen lights, you know, and get the body warm. I'm not going to do so much blowing heat on the car this time as just going for airflow, and you know, we'll try and get the best overall temperature possible. But you know, I think shining those halogens at it and blowing the heater over it is getting it to skin over before the solvents come out, which is how I'm getting the solvent pop. So anyway, I'm going to try just a little bit different deviation from what I've been doing, and the other parts came out fine after I color sanded them. But see if we can't cure a couple more of these issues. So I'm letting the temperature warm up a little bit more outside, and then we're pretty much ready to roll. Alright, got the body done. Mostly came out pretty good. I do got solvent pop, which has been sanding out, so I'm not too worried about that. A little bit of solvent pop. Got the normal amount of dirt in there. A couple pieces here and there. But boy, I ran the hell out of this one. I got runs pretty much every corner on this thing, so that's going to be a bitch. I got a lot of work sanding out runs on this one. So yeah, that's going to be a bitch, but I can save it, so that's the good thing. I think it'll get done this time instead of having to redo it again. I want to tear down this booth really bad. Get this body set on that chassis. Okay, there's the door polished out. That's the look I'm looking for. Let's see. Pretty good reflection. Looks pretty good. Looks wet. Looks flat. Hard to see in the dark here. That looks pretty good. So door's done. Both doors are done. I think I'll work on the hood now. And the body's still cooking off in there. Got everything turned up with the heat. So yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks beautiful. Looks really nice. Well, got a lot of hours in getting rid of runs. It's not easy to do, especially on black, you know, because it's got to be perfect. It's pretty hard to take, yeah, I should have showed you when I was doing it, I guess, but it's pretty hard to take something that's raised and knock it down without touching, you know, the parts on either side of it. And when you got that drip coming down, part of that drip is taller, part of it's not. Then you got your paint surface on each side of it that you don't want to touch. So you got to learn some techniques how to take that down without touching the rest of the paint. You know, it's kind of like extracting dinosaur bones. You know, you got to get rid of the dirt and the rock, but you can't touch the bone. So, you know, it can all go bad in an instant. And I've had to test my skills in removing runs in some nasty spots, you know, like up underneath here. Every spot you see this weird little shave in here is where I had runs. Had runs hanging down here, some hanging off the bottom of this lip here. Just nasty. This right here sagged. Sloughed off into that bottom part, ran it all the way down here. A nice little run down here. This is the biggest run I've ever seen in my life. This thing must have been that thick. I don't know. Probably exaggerating, but that thing just sloughed off there. You know, and I was worried about that, but I was able to get that down. I don't think I'll see it at all. I think it'll be 100% gone. You know, and everyone's asking me, well, how's it going? How's it going? You know, my wife, family, friends. You know, they all want me to get it done. They know it stresses me out. And my answer is, well, I don't know. Now, I won't know until this thing is done and polished, because, you know, you could polish through right at the very last minute, and then the whole thing's ruined. So we'll see. So far it's going good. So far they're coming out pretty well. You know the solvent pop thing? You know what I think that's from? I think that's from that fisheye eliminator. I've never had problem with solvent pop. You know, I've ran cars, ran the paint off the door onto the ground, dumping it on, and never had solvent pop. I've painted everything from completely dry and not covered to all the way dripping wet, running on the ground, and never had solvent pop. So I think that's what that solvent pop is that fisheye eliminator escaping out of there. But it's just a tiny little bit. It's just on the top. You know, by the time I get rid of that orange peel, those little bubbles are gone. So I'm not even worried about it anymore. Just trying to get rid of the runs and get this thing polished out. I polished a little bit on the hood, and it's looking good. Man, it's gonna look nice. So my boost's falling off around me, and I've just been kind of letting it, because day by day I'm getting closer to having this thing done, I think. Well, this is a good day. I'm moving on. Got this thing cut down, ready for polish, ready to buff it out. And I think it's gonna be pretty good. There's only a couple spots I'm gonna have to do some more tricks on. You know, like up underneath where I didn't get enough paint. So I'll have to do some fancy brushing and polishing and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna clean this place up. I'm gonna get my garage back again. and move on to the next phase. I've been sanding for a month. Sick and tired of sanding this thing down. So I really hope I get a move on, have fun polishing this thing, and enjoy the fruits of the efforts. Got everything cleaned up, and I started doing some polishing. Got the top done, you know, the main cut. There's still another phase, a little bit finer phase, which it'll gloss that up even a little bit more. But yeah, I got everything sanded, cleaned up. Got this part over here done. Looks pretty good. Nice and shiny. So far so good. It's cleaning up pretty nice. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good perfect. Looks nice and shiny. A lot of work. That's what I got done, just the top and this side over here, which was pretty much all day long, just getting that polished. So I got a few more days before I get around this thing, call it done.